Hey, welcome to Always Booked. I'm Olivia.
I'm Emily.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Dani.
And today we're going to be talking about A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yeah, so something that I feel that everyone has on their SJM journey is where were you when you started on this? And so what about you guys? Where were you when you picked up ACOTAR? And also, did we all start with ACOTAR?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Okay, so where were you when?
Okay, well, I think it was like 2.5 years ago that I tried it for the first time. Like one of my bookish friends, I wasn't back into like the books of it all. She was like, you just have to read this. So one summer I was at the beach and I started it, but I started it on Audible and I was like, this is awful. What is this even about? Like I didn't even get past, like she killed the wolf and I was out.
Right.
I was like, not for me. Freaking a whole year. I think about how I sat on that for a whole year, not knowing what was about to happen to my personality. And then a literal year later, I had the physical book, took it to the beach again, and like devoured it. I think I got through A Court of Wings and Ruin on that one like week-long vacation.
One thing about you is you're not halfway doing anything.
Right.
Right. You can't like things normally. Yeah.
I truly can't.
Emily?
The year is 2022. I was on a beach in Aruba.
Aruba.
Wow,
Yeah.
how romantic. Goodness.
And it was great. Finished the whole book. I only had the first book, so as soon as I got home, I went to Barnes, bought the rest of the series.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Were you already a reader? Like, were you already kind of like in your reading?
Yes, but not fantasy.
Oh, you weren't a
thought-
fantasy girl?
No, and I even remember the first book club I came to. You asked me what I was into. And I was like, I read a lot of nonfiction. And you were like, oh.
Insane.
I remember that
so
too.
judgmental.
Yeah, and it was like,
I
Who is
thought
this girl?
I
I'm
thought
so
that's
sorry.
what my jam was. But
Yeah.
then I started reading fantasy and I was like,
Dance?
I think I probably read it the most recent of us all. I read it last year for the first time.
year?
Yeah. Because I became friends with Olivia and you obviously loved the books and you would talk about them all the time. I also remember asking you the name of the book like a million times. So I don't know if you remember, but I really, because you would talk about it all the time and I was like, wait, what's it called again? Because you'd always call it ACOTAR.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, what's it called again? What's it called again? But anyways, and then we started book club and I don't think I actually started reading it when we began book club last year.
Yeah, I don't think
it was like about halfway through the
like
year.
summer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like, oh, I should finally read this book. But yeah, I remember reading the first one and honestly liking it. Everybody that I talked to was like, you're gonna have a difficult time with the first one, whatever. But I enjoyed it.
I think that perspective though, like you feel like you have a difficult time with the first one once you've read how good the next ones are.
For sure.
But like when you're reading it for the first time, the first one was fun.
It was
fun.
yeah.
You didn't like
Really?
it.
You hate it.
You said it yourself that you couldn't get through it.
Yeah, the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
The first
The
couple
beginning?
chapters.
I will say,
I honestly can't get through the first couple chapters of any book. Every single time I'm like, this is trash.
Yeah, I know that's fair. The wolf thing though, I was like, okay, Katniss Everdeen.
Right.
Like, that's kind of like what my vibe was.
No,
Then I
that
got
was
it.
exactly my first thought.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. But then I liked it.
Yeah.
When did you read it, Hannah?
So picture this. It's 2020. I go to LA.
COVID.
Right. I go to LA, visit my college roommate, and I was like very adamantly against TikTok when it very first happened.
sure.
'Cause
Are
too.
I mean, same.
Yeah.
All
I didn't get
us.
it for like 3 years.
No, right.
Why are we that way?
I knew it's because I don't like feeling like my time's being wasted.
Oh.
That's and I know TikTok is one of those like
Yeah.
brain rot things. And it was one of those things where like, TikTok has its like language.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I had people in my life that were like using that language outside of TikTok. And I said, that is so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like,
Renegade.
get away from- Exactly.
Yeah.
And that
So I
was a
missed
different
that.
era of TikTok as
For sure.
well.
I was going to say it's
So
mostly
was.
dance.
It was fresh
And I was
musically.
like, I'm not going to dance
It
on
was
camera. So
fresh.
That's
Yeah.
not
100%.
for me.
Exactly.
And so I hadn't made it to like book talk because at that point I did have TikTok, but I hadn't made it to book talk yet. But I've always been a reader, like fantasy specifically. I have always been a fantasy reader. And then my roommate at the time, we go to Barnes and Noble because one place you'll find me is Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
Always has been. And she's like, yeah, I keep seeing this book all over TikTok. Like, I really want to read it. And I picked up a different book. I was like, okay, girl, that sounds good. And then she's like, yeah, it's supposed to be like Beauty and the Beast. Hey, she halted me in my tracks right there.
Sure.
Because one thing about me, I love Beauty and the Beast. Belle, she is
Aw.
me.
Same.
I have always resonated that way. So I traded out the books and I said, yeah, okay, I'll get that. And so I had a flight from LA to Denver to Arkansas. And I said, well, what else am I going to do? So I read ACOTAR like in that one flight. I said, wait a minute. I see my dad and I'm like, we have to go to Barnes & Noble
right now.
And so picked up Mist and Fury. And the rest is really history.
Yeah, we should probably also
book
say
1.
there will be spoilers for the first book. We haven't said any yet, but there will
We should
be.
probably make like a disclaimer, like a trigger warning thing, but like spoiler
Trigger
warning.
warning.
Trigger
in
warning
the
for book
description.
lovers. There will be spoilers.
No, that's so fair. Yeah. Like, I hate it when people describe ACOTAR as a Beauty and the Beast retelling to people that haven't read it. Because I feel like it's a massive
For sure.
spoiler though. Like,
Are you sure? Because I feel like it had absolutely no Beauty and the Beast.
well, yeah,
resonation.
because to break the curse, she has to say "I love you." That's literally the whole point
Hey.
of everything in the first book.
Oh, that's a good point.
Of,
I'm like, you just
I
told the
would
whole
like to
plot.
know
Yeah.
Who got the riddle and who did not?
Okay, who got
We
the
are gonna-
riddle?
I was as dumb as Feyre.
Oh yeah, girl. I was like, Mama,
Even
like
now, I
no.
reread it and reading the riddle. I'm like, I
No.
don't know.
You're joking.
I'm great at guessing the end of mysteries, and a lot of like the books we talk about at book club.
Yeah.
This, no, I don't know.
Maybe I've just read fantasy for too long. Because
Right.
like immediately I read that and I said, you're joking.
I think you know where I
seems
was. I was
obvious,
at
too.
that point of the book, and I was like, actually, I don't freaking care what this riddle is.
Also,
that's kind of
yes.
that was
Because you hated it so much?
No,
or-
no, I liked the book. I was just like, I literally don't care if this man lives or dies. Like Tamlin.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh, that is insane.
Yeah, I was like, I
was
don't
in love
care.
with that man.
But I was
I'm
like
with you.
apathetic towards the whole situation.
I thought the riddle was so easy. I was like, can't be love because that's too
You and me
obvious.
I was gaslighting myself.
And then I was like, okay.
Right. No,
I was just
hey,
there for vibes.
I was.
yeah, period.
And that's how
I was
you
just
do
having a
it though.
good
You
time.
don't know what you're getting yourself into
Yeah.
when you jump into a Sarah J. Maas
I
book.
love that for you. I love
Yeah.
that for you so much. I was out here like, I was also in love with Tamlin. I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
oh my god, their end game. I love them. Reese, get out of here. You're so annoying.
Okay. Reese was a menace, obviously. But like when you describe somebody as the hottest person you've ever
For
seen in your
sure.
life, I am
I'm like,
intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, this-
you might be bad, but you're hot.
How evil are you?
Show
when
me.
you look that good. Yeah, for
My-
sure. For sure.
My blight as a reader is that I love a blonde man.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Usually you like icy blonde, like a Targaryen blonde, right? Or all blondes.
Hey.
Oh, you
Hey.
don't discriminate. Okay.
No,
I don't know if
we'll
that's
just-
something I
we'll
would
just-
say out loud.
Yeah. Why would you say that to me? Why would you say
No,
that?
so
Oh my
you
God.
extra love
I
Tamlin.
feel discriminated against.
I usually like a blonde man as well, but something about Tamlin, I was like, this is not right.
I did love
I-
him.
I did
don't know.
love. Yeah, me too. I loved him.
Me, I was
That's
like,
fair.
he's biting you in the hallway. Love it.
I was right there. I probably reread that. I'm not
I
gonna
did.
lie.
1000%.
Like,
I was like,
so valid.
Is
oh,
it hot?
yeah.
No,
Hot.
yeah. I don't know. I think it's also the fact that he was a wolf, right? No.
Well, whatever his lion.
Yeah, whatever his like beast was.
Yeah.
Something about it felt very like, dang, it's the word that I cannot remember.
Was this your first fantasy book?
I think it was.
So you were
I mean,
normal before.
I mean,
Yeah,
I read.
she still is.
What did I read? I read like obviously Hunger Games. I read
Those don't
like
count.
Divergent. I read Maze
Those
Runner.
aren't like
Those
fantasy,
are more
though.
like
Those are
apocalyptic. Yeah, dystopian.
Dystopian.
Which like that's really all that I had to go off of.
Mhm.
Percy Jackson. Does that count?
No, not really.
Historical. Whatever. I don't know.
You
Mythal.
You could look up things
mythology?
about it and like be filled in. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this wasn't really. I've never done until last year. Like
Mhm.
I hadn't read any. Honestly, until book club.
Until I forced it upon you.
the show.
Yeah.
And I think all of us but Dani has finished the whole SJM universe.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's working on it.
She's
Yeah,
close.
I'm on Empire Storm.
Oh wait, no, you still have all of Crescent City too.
For show.
Hey,
For show.
Crescent
And
City,
hey, let
superior.
me put this out there right now. I will. That will be a minute after I
Oh.
finish
I have
Throne
no
of
doubt.
Glass.
I have no doubt.
I'm gonna read all of the fun, lighthearted, like no plot, no depth, no
Read the
anything
off
for
campus series.
for
I
a
do recommend.
while. Yeah.
I just did the whole universe.
Oh yeah, me
no.
too.
That
I
is
couldn't
crazy.
anymore.
Hey, can I tell you something so embarrassing?
Yeah.
I remember going to get ACOTAR at Barnes Noble, and I was with Atticus, and we're checking out or whatever, and the girl that checked me out was like, "Oh, after you finish this series, you have to read her other 2 series as well." And we're walking away, and I looked at Atticus. I was like, "I don't want to get into all that. Like, I literally just want to read this series. I don't care about like her other anything." And that was so stupid.
Fast forward to cosplaying.
No,
Literally,
right.
I have
TikTok.
literally now I'm
For
a
sure.
book talker cosplayer and have 500 copies of the same series.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
That's the
slippery
Sarah J.
slope.
Maas effect.
For sure.
I think it is about SJM that why this has such a cult following.
Like ACOTAR specifically.
Well, yes, but also the whole universe.
You know what's crazy? I would love to hunt this down. I would
Yeah,
love
they
to
need to do a study.
crowdsource this because I'm gonna stand by this. I don't think her writing is anything crazy. I do not think her writing is anything crazy. But me personally, I'm always a plot person over a character person, and somehow she has managed to like write different characters. Like between all her series, they're all different characters.
Very distinctly
Yes.
different
Very
personalities.
distinctly.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's really hard to do, especially with how big her casts are sometimes. Like you think of Throne of Glass by the end, like you're still meeting new characters. Like I think that's crazy. But even more so, it's probably her plot, which is so interesting to me because you really don't realize all the intricacies that she's woven through until you've finished one series and then probably read 2 books of another series and you're just like, oh,
I think that is part of it though. Like you think you're just going in for a good time, but it's a lot more. Like there's a lot more substance to it.
yeah.
And her pacing, like the last 200 pages is always bananas.
Yeah,
and so
insane.
you get to the end and
I
you're
think
like,
that's my least
I'm
favorite
ready to
part
do it
of
again.
it.
Oh.
I actually kind of feel the same.
I wish the pacing was more consistent.
Really?
Yeah, I want, like I said, plot forward. So
Yeah.
I want things to be happening. So like the last 100 pages, I'm like trudging to get there. I'm like, okay, I know it's gonna get good.
I love
I
a
just gotta
battle.
get there.
Yeah, I
Me
love
too.
that too.
Yeah.
I do think
I
for
love the
ACOTAR
prison.
though,
Or
like
that-
trying to think about why, because so many people get back into reading or like start loving it from ACOTAR.
Well, ACOTAR is 100% the setup of like it's everything familiar.
Yeah.
Like you said it earlier, like the beginning of ACOTAR is, oh, that's Countess Evertine. I know her
For sure.
And then you're like, I know this plot. And I think that's probably what gets people. It's the I know this plot, but at the same time I don't.
It does feel like an approachable fairy tale kind of vibe at the beginning, especially like book 1 feels like an approachable fairy tale, which I think is like why the people make the comparison of Beauty and the Beast. But yeah, it's like the poor family. It's like all those elements of like trying to get a better life, making a mistake, like not realizing it. I don't know. It's also like familiar feelings of like
it is
adolescence. You know what I mean? So I think it's like all those, like the kids that grew up reading Hunger Games or Twilight or Maze Runner. Like it's all of those. I don't know. It's similar.
And even like the romance element, like it does a good job of having like a romance element to it, while also she's fighting for like the greater good for her family, for the world, for the person she loves. Like you want to be like her because she's made a better life for herself or whatever for her family, and she wants what's good. Meanwhile, there's a hot guy that loves you the whole time and like takes care of you.
Dang it.
Hey, it always comes back to the hot guy.
I don't know.
Always
who doesn't
happens to
want
me
that.
as well.
Like I too would have
goodness.
Stockholm syndrome.
I'm always getting Stockholm syndrome. That's for certain.
And I've always said that.
Exactly. No, but I think the other thing about Sarah J. Maas in particular, like as an author, that I think is interesting is I don't think there are many like authors who are just trying to write an excellent story. Like I think a lot of authors, specifically like going back to the ones that we all grew up reading, I think they were always trying to make like a larger point. Do you know what I mean? And they were writing for the sake of the large point rather than like just writing a great story. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I feel like even Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, like the whole Narnia series, like obviously there was such like a greater point.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the
all that
Rings, like there was
stuff,
so much philosophy in what they were actually trying to communicate. Same with Suzanne Collins, like she's trying to make like an anarchist generation of children. Do you know what I mean? Like she really was like making points, you know? And I feel like this is just a great story. I mean, I never read the Harry Potter books,
magic.
I know, which is so sad, and I probably never will now because I feel too old. But
No.
I feel like the way that J.K. Rowling wrote those books is like similar in the terms of like just being fun and like just fantastic, and you know what I mean.
It's just for
Do
fun.
not get me started on J.K. Rowling's writing style for Harry Potter, because I could write a literal thesis on that and how like it matures with you and how like you are so obsessed with the books because you can place yourself in it. That is a whole other thing.
As you
That is a whole other thing that I will get into at a later date if anyone else wants to join that.
Did you feel like you could place yourself in ACOTAR?
No, but
Did
I
you
was
ever feel
gonna
like you were
say no, not really. But I was gonna say that something that women don't have in the like reading sphere was a like fantasy epic or epic fantasy, because like you have the George R.R. Martins of the world and the what's the other one that all the boys like,
Brandon Sanderson.
Yep. So like they're writing these epic fantasies, but there isn't really like
MMCs, like it is more male focused or written for men.
Dune.
right. And And so I think Sarah J. Maas also kind of found a niche that wasn't explored. It was like, because she has written an epic fantasy,
which
and
is
it's
just
not
like
done.
women though, right? Like she
Yes.
wrote to what women are and can be, which is
Right.
very multifaceted.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's not many authors. Well, there are
There
plenty
are
more
now,
now,
for
but
sure.
when
Now.
she started out, yeah.
I think it's crazy as well that men enjoy these books.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I love the TikToks of like my husband read this book, or my boyfriend's reading this book, or whatever. Like they have so much fun reading them because I think she's able to write characters that are true to like men and women. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just so cool. It's so fun. She really captures like the essence of like the differences and like also of their partnerships coming together.
Did y'all find Feyre to be a relatable main character? Like when you were reading it, were you like,
I gotta put myself back into the first time I read it.
I think
I think
pissed
I
me
did when I read it
yeah?
the first time. I mean, I didn't grow up in a hovel and get captured by a fairy,
Right.
But
But like her intentions and
Yeah.
thoughts.
yeah,
I found her a little bit annoying.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I still liked her, like enough to like root for her.
Yeah. I have main character
She complains
syndrome,
a
so
lot.
I
Yeah.
obviously would associate with her.
yeah.
Right.
So
Which as you
Until-
should though, and like a good book should make you feel like the main character no matter what.
until she couldn't read.
Eek.
And then I was like, well, I can
Until she Leo Michelle'd us all. I was like, girl, you're illiterate.
right. Lucian on the other side of that fence being like,
About to be squished.
Right.
Like, are you freaking kidding me?
He's like, just take me.
Yeah.
right.
even worry
Let
about
the spikes get me. Like,
right. And
Insane.
then she had the voices in her head talking to her, of course.
no,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Farrah did piss me off. I think she like she was just annoying to me. Same thing.
Yeah.
Like, she did complain a lot.
Yeah.
I also feel like I don't know, she just kind of had, I mean, she was like obviously doing the best of what she had, but I just feel like she was just kind of whiny.
She was.
Yeah.
I do feel like though, I think that's kind of why people can relate to her. Not because she's whiny, but because she like from her perspective, she was doing absolutely everything she could for her family
Yeah,
and
100%.
didn't get the recognition.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women feel like that day to day, whether
For
it's like
sure.
their job or your family or whatever.
Yeah.
You're
and
doing
then
the most, but
her-
nobody cares.
her family pissed me off too. They all were pissing me off.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I was like, oh, I hate all these people.
Hey,
Yeah.
actually, maybe that's the magic of Sarah J. Maas.
For sure.
She's bringing people together on hating the same character.
Yeah.
There's nothing like bonding. Exactly.
That.
Yeah. Over
Finish
negativity.
that?
Yeah.
Like the people you hate.
You're
Yeah.
gonna finish
Trauma bonds.
that. We do
Trauma
it.
bonds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I do think Amarantha is an excellent villain.
Oh, excellent.
I wanted more of her. Like
I
I,
did
wish
as
she would
well.
have gone through more of the books because
She
the way
feels
they like hyped her
cookie
up
cutter
too.
placed.
Yeah.
Like, she felt
I loved her.
but she's like
I
talked
love her
about like
too.
she's this crazy warrior who has led the
Yeah.
armies and eviscerated people for 100 years.
right.
And then she's just like overturned. I don't know. And I
Yeah.
get
I
everybody
agree
has to
with
have their
that.
end, but I just wish we had more of her. I would have liked
Yeah.
her to go into to more
I don't like a
books.
proxy villain.
Yeah.
I think they're silly. I don't think they add much to the plot. I just don't like it. Because, like, if the King of Hybern's supposed to be the villain, make him the villain.
I see.
I guess it's
Amarantha
the
was a
setup.
proxy.
Yeah, it's the
and
For
I
setup
sure.
for the real
like
villain.
that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, at least sew a few more threads so the reader is brought along
Mhm.
on the journey that like
Yeah.
Hybern is the villain there.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah,
remember
It said
reading
that
it.
she just stole the, what was it? She stole the spells. And so that's why
Yeah.
she got
Yeah,
everyone,
his book of spells or whatever.
trapped everyone under the mountain.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
Lucian and Rhysand and whatever, once she's under the mountain, they're both amazing characters.
Yeah.
I think so
Like
too.
Lucian Olive book 1 was very interesting to me.
yeah.
Like, I don't know, the snarky banter, whatever kind of individual.
Ginger energy
That's not for me in particular.
for sure.
Yeah.
But yes, his energy.
But it is the ginger
It
energy.
is the ginger energy,
Yeah.
yeah.
for sure.
But Under the Mountain, both of them, like they were the only ones that gave or did anything. Like
Yeah.
they're the only ones that understood the stakes.
One
Yes.
thing that Sarah J. Maas is really great at is writing about perspective and through perspective.
Mm.
Because like as you read, you kind of like the more information you gain, it like changes Feyre's
Mhm.
perspective. And I
Mhm.
think she's really good at that.
Yeah.
Like that what's it called? Like that screening effect
Mhm.
of just like not being able to see a full character.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's really good at that.
Yeah, because she writes, I mean, like this is from Feyre's POV. And
Mhm.
the more you read, the more you realize that Feyre is an unreliable narrator
Correct.
of the story, which most of her characters are.
Yeah.
But you have to see all the POVs to get like the full perspective of what is reality.
Do you think you could have stabbed your lover Tamlin in the heart
Yeah.
if you were in, okay,
Yeah.
insert any person you love in that final trial?
Yeah.
I think I would have been so confident in my answer. Like, I don't think I would have gone into that, like, not knowing. Because at a point she's going through, she's like, oh, he has a heart of stone. Like she has reasoned through. And I think I would feel good enough about my gamble to go for it.
Yeah.
I think she would have stabbed him even if she didn't get there.
Yeah, because her focus was so like, what is the greater good for everyone?
Mhm.
What's that thing called? The
train.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's
train
definitely
Who are you
taking-
saving? Yeah.
She's killing one person for the all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me,
And at that
I'm
point,
letting
she's
the all
already
get
made
run over.
so many decisions for that purpose alone. Like,
Mhm.
Right.
she's already like sold half of her life to Rhys and like done all that. She's like,
She's
yeah, I can stab somebody.
self-sacrificial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a little bit of a hero complex for sure.
100%.
Very much martyr.
Feyre is, yeah, martyr hero complex.
Yeah.
I still love the girl. I still love her. but
Yeah.
I think that's why she's annoying a little bit.
Yeah. What did we think about the fiddle scene?
Oh.
We kind of talked about this earlier.
When I read it for the first time, loved it.
Yeah.
I agree.
You ate that up.
Yeah.
I was in love with Tamlin at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So really,
Play the
anything
fiddle
he
for
could
me.
do.
Play the fiddle for
Oh,
me.
he's musical.
This is a man of many talents.
Yes.
But I did text
well-rounded.
Emily yesterday because I was listening to it again. And that scene came on, and I was like, and actually, it should be a crime to have to listen to Tamlin
100%.
play the fiddle more than once because the first time, in love. The
Yeah.
second time, what are you doing?
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this: Cal and my Tamlin, stay inside. Okay.
Let's talk about that whole.
No, yeah, like,
Calamite. That
you're
is
hot. Tell me what to
weird.
do.
No, right, exactly, and that's my problem to deal
Okay,
with.
yeah, let's talk about Kellen Mai.
Such a weird concept.
Really? I think
Don't you
it makes
think
so?
so?
Much sense. He's the spring court, and like spring is all about like rebirth and like bringing
Yeah, but he
things
says
back.
every court does it. We're only talking about book one, but he does say
He
that.
does say that.
Yes, yes, yes. But they all have different like iterations of it, and like if theirs is kind of like a
It's just
The
weird that you have to
ritual
like
that it is.
sleep with someone to do,
Do you think he
that.
has a bunch of like babies running around or
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
Yes.
That man's got heir to
Who
the
knows?
baby
who is-
Targaryens.
everywhere?
It's Jon Snow's.
Yeah.
So
Bunch
many
of
of
Jon
them.
Snows.
I forgot about this ritual. He has to sleep with someone.
He has to hook
Yeah.
up with a fairy in the cave,
And
like
it's-
while
and it
everybody watches
produces
or whatever,
magic.
and it produces magic,
Magic
to
for the land.
replenish the land.
Oh, it's
Yeah, but like again, it's the spring court. Spring is all about like making babies. Essentially,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's when nature reproduces.
Yeah. What if
Okay.
it's not real? He was just like,
I mean, it could. Yeah, it
I
could
mean,
be.
I
there's
gotta do this every.
This could be a
the man is
of
kooky.
tradition.
He plays the fiddle
Yeah.
for women he loves. The man is
Did
kooky.
he play it for her though, or did
he was
she,
already
like,
playing
stumble
it. Yeah,
on
he
it?
was playing it, and she
Yeah.
stumbled upon it.
and then he moved forward with playing it at her.
Yeah.
Hey, and you know what? If I've read enough Harry Styles fan fiction in my day to be like, if he's on stage and then sees me and then starts playing towards me, I get it. I get it, girl. If I'm in love with a
And
man,
you're
I
on
get it.
fairy wine, and you're like,
Okay.
It sounds
no,
like a
that's
good
right.
time.
I have no
Factor
complaints.
back
I have no
here.
complaints.
Right. No. And I said, after that, you and me, we're going back in here.
Oh,
Right.
I read that and I said, "Get your bluegrass looking ass out of here." I was like, "This is." I will say the part that was so magical is when they go to that little like pond.
Oh my gosh,
That sounded like
Starlight.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be right there.
I also want to know, like, another time they're back out in like the Glen or whatever, and they're having a good time, and he's like teasing her about kissing her, and she's like, all of a sudden I got really tired, and she goes to sleep.
Yes.
I'm like,
that part's
what
weird.
happened here?
Tamlin's going to have some freaky powers.
You think?
I do.
Because he lifted the glamour, right?
It's
And
right
then
after he lifts the glamour.
and then she passes out.
Basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
It's like-
strange to me.
Sensory
It's probably
overload.
Her body, like,
And she just, like,
That's
passed out.
true. It could be
Guys,
that.
can we get a visual representation of how you pictured the masks when you read? Like they're all wearing masks.
I pictured
Mardi
them
What
Gras.
did
like,
you picture?
like little, yeah,
Yeah.
little
Like
masquerade.
masquerade.
Okay.
Gold.
Mardi Gras.
Like
Yeah,
that?
like
Yeah.
you can
Just
see
the
most
eyes?
of their
Okay.
face.
Are you
I-
telling me you get, like, full face?
Well,
like,
when
Phantom.
when I read it, I was thinking Phantom of the Opera. Immediately, that's my face.
Oh my
went.
God.
Like I was like, wait. And then I saw someone sent me fan art. I was like, oh, you know what? That makes a lot more sense. It's giving Mask of Zorro. Okay,
Enough-
wrong. Need to switch my movie
enough
references.
to know
here.
that he's still hot. You
Yeah.
know?
exactly.
No, for sure, for sure. I was thinking like jawline. You know what I mean? Like jaw on display
Mhm.
with the Phantom mask.
Mhm.
But
Not Gerard Butler.
yeah, and so then that was edited to regular mask.
Do we think that Tamlin actually fell in love with Feyre in this
No.
book? It's so hard for
A
me because I'm like,
salvation.
your whole
Yeah.
point was exactly this, to break a curse. Like, I think he had affection for her and admiration, but I don't know that he really loved her.
I think he may have a very distorted view of love.
Yeah.
So I think he could have loved her in the way that he knew how, which was possession.
There's also one point where Tamlin is talking to Feyre, and she asked him something like, why didn't you kill me? Why didn't you just kill me when you came to the cabin? And he's like, I opened the door and you stood up to me, and I realized, like, oh, you were special. You didn't need to be killed. And in my head, I'm like, bull crap. The whole point was for you to capture this girl and take her back and fall in love.
Yeah,
that
but you couldn't say that to her.
I know, but like, if you're lying about that,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It just,
don't-
it was weird to me.
I don't know that he wanted to fall in love either, though. Like, I
I feel like he's lonely. He was
Yes.
lonely.
He definitely was, but like, I don't know if you had the pressure of your entire people being freed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's almost like an immediate rejection of like, if I want true love, I'm not gonna seek something out that's forced.
Sure, that's true. And it's like, it is giving everyone freedom, but you're doing what Amarantha basically is making you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also has been alive for like ever, no?
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like he probably would have just given up on like somewhere along the way. He probably just like stopped caring about falling in love.
Do we remember how Tamlin got his stone of heart? His heart of stone?
He was cursed when he wouldn't be with Amarantha, right?
That's
and
when
that's
it
kind
changed?
of how. I could be wrong.
She
I don't
carve it
know.
out and replace it?
I
or
don't know. I don't
it's
remember.
magic. It's magic.
Sure. That makes sense.
So he has a
Yeah.
regular heart now.
Yes,
Okay.
because like from what I'm recalling, which I could be wrong,
Mhm.
very likely could be wrong. Amarantha made advances on Tamlin.
Yeah, she
and
did.
Yes.
he was like, no. And then she had like the masquerade party and it's like, because you rejected me,
Yeah.
you have to go find someone else that loves you.
Yeah,
And
because he
you can't
said
love them.
Right.
he said to her, like, because her sister died because a mortal killed her. And Tamlin said, like, rejected her and was like, no, I would rather be with a mortal who hates fairies than be with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
she's
she was
"Good
like,
job."
okay, then do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when she trapped everyone and like used the
Yeah.
magic.
But that's the same time his heart turned,
yes.
to our understanding.
You have to do
Fan
fan
cast.
cast.
Except my fan cast for this book was difficult because I don't make fan casts conventionally. Like I'm not thinking about like current. I'm thinking of just like who would be the best person for this role throughout all the time and span of history that and of actors that I'm
That's
aware
totally
of.
fine.
That's okay.
Yeah. So Amarantha, I pictured Moulin Rouge Nicole Kidman.
I love
because
that.
that is like the perfect
Excellent.
Amarantha.
I love it.
And
Absolutely
so
phenomenal.
when I read her, I was like, oh, that's exactly who this woman
Yeah.
is. And I would love to see Nicole Kidman in that role if she like obviously if this was a thing, a
Yeah.
book then. But
Give me
yeah,
come what may.
yeah,
Give me come what may.
exactly. So that's what I pictured. I think for Tamlin, I pictured like the classic Chris Hemsworth
I know.
because I do think like, but not him now.
Huh.
He's too old,
Right.
obviously. Like him, maybe like circa first Thor or something like that. And I think something about
Hot.
Tamlin was also a little dopey.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And so I think like that Chris Hemsworth does have a good dopey vibe. I think as a Feyre, I really didn't picture anyone for her. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think Phoebe Denevor would be a good Feyre cast.
I've seen her fan cast before too.
I think I like her most as Elaine.
As Elaine.
I think so
yeah.
too because she has like a
She's
more
so-
doughy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
She's
Elaine,
doe-eyed for
I don't
sure.
know.
I
Elaine
think that's
doesn't
why
look
people
a
like
little
Feyre too.
babyish.
Is because she's like she's just
such a
described as
generic
regular.
person. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't even imagine what she looks like.
just
She's
normal, just
cast
human.
a girl with brown hair.
Pick
Really?
me. Choose.
I mean, Daisy Edgar Jones. That could be a potentially good one.
Oh,
yeah.
that
Wow.
feels like a really great
I like
that.
for
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're
What about
right.
Lucian?
Elaine. I don't know many gingers, but I do think
I
he
think
is
we're
a
awake.
mixed guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Okay.
don't know his name, but the guy from Emily in Paris right now,
Alfie?
the black guy, the black mixed guy. Yeah, I feel like he would be great. And I like that he's British. I think Lucian needs to have an accent. I don't know how that actor would look with red hair, but I feel like that's how I feel. I have no one for Resand. I was kind of mixing a few people. I think a young James Marsden would have been like pretty good. But
Decent.
obviously like
The jawline.
beefy. Yes.
The jawline,
Jawline and like he needs to be
The
beefy. Like we need to get this man on protein.
He needs to grow. a little
Yeah,
bit.
for sure. But I think that like in my head, like that was like all he had all the right every like AI fan cast or whatever that I would see recently. I'm like, this is literally just James Marsden. Like just say you want James Marsden in this role. But like 20 years ago. Anyways.
And so I have a question.
Okay.
Picture this. It's Lucian. He's looking at you. You're looking at him. Mask, red hair, all of it. Smash or pass?
Smash.
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 I think I look crazy.
You're gonna pass.
I am gonna pass. I was never a Lucian girl. I said, you don't like me, I don't like you, we'll beef. I'm not an enemies to lover in that
I'm
situation.
also not a Lucian girl, but like
But he's
No.
hot. If he
He's
looks
not
like
hot
if
to
he looks
me.
like how I'm picturing him, hot.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah,
hot
but he's
to
hot.
me.
He is.
oof.
I'm taking
He is.
Tamlin. I'm taking Tamlin the
Yes.
whole
Okay,
time.
okay.
But that wasn't the question.
Yeah.
I know. You're right.
We
you're
can
right,
smash
you're
as many as we want.
Yeah.
to
right.
smash.
No, yeah, you can
Next
smash
one,
everyone
next
if you
one.
want.
All of the above.
Okay. The cereal, smash or pass?
Pass.
Yeah. fair.
Pass.
Yeah, pass.
Yeah.
Friend
I'm not
zone. It's a
attracted
friend
to
zone.
creatures like at
No,
all.
right. Okay. You know Tamlin has a heart of stone.
Yeah.
Smash or pass?
Smash.
Yeah.
That makes it better. Smash.
Strings attached.
yeah, exactly. Like so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Their deadbeat dad.
Pass. I hate that
Pass.
man so much.
Yeah.
I know. There's no
Pass.
redemption for him.
One
for
moment
me.
of glory does not make you anything.
No.
Pass.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna shout out some local bookstores and businesses on every episode of the pod. And for the first one, we want to talk about Talking Animals Bookstore because it is the bookstore that brought us all together. It's
Live
where I started book club. We had like our first ever meeting there. It's also newer, maybe like a year and a half old now, maybe 2 years. I don't know.
Definitely 2 years.
2 years. In Grapevine, Texas, and it's so freaking cute. They maintain like the history of the building. It used to be an old bank, and they turned a bank vault into freaking like the coziest little reading nook. And they're just the best. So if you're looking for a local bookstore in the DFW, Texas area, or online, they're also online. Check out Talking Animals Bookstore. They're an indie bookstore, and they're amazing. We love them.
Shop local.
Get booked.
Get booked.
Get booked.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us today
Yeah,
as we
love you
talked about
guys.
ACOTAR.
Episode 1 of the podcast
Episode
have always
1.
booked.
Yay. So cute.
If you liked it, let us know. If you hated it, just close the app.
Keep it to yourself.
Subscribe,
Appreciate
leave us a
it.
comment, leave us 5 stars, leave a review. Do what
Smash
you gotta
that
do.
like button.
Follow us on social media. Always booked. What else? Our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
All the things.
All the
All the
things.
things. Hang out with us again sometime soon.
Yeah.
Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.